Welcome to episode 9, yes. And we're drawing our terrain, yes, I remember. Took a couple of weeks off, had a good rest. I'm quite enjoying my life. So, here we are, terrain. Let's go back into this and see what we did. We left it as just a copy of Draw Entity. I did that on purpose, just to give you something to think about, just in case you needed it. So, I'm going to check it from the top. I don't need a map. There's not going to be a map of terrain. There's going to be a terrain. I'll take that out for now. Vector, yeah, we can have that. Maths, yes please. Camera entity, terrain shader. Yeah, we do have a terrain shader, I hope, in OpenGL. We do. Oh, that's nice. So let's pop that in here, shall we? Yeah. There we go. There's a terrain shader. Not hard, not hard. Oh, and here's the Muppet. Me speaking and crawls out the woodwork. What else do we need? Textured model? Doubt it. We can get everything from terrain, can't we? Terrain is its own model. Interesting. I'm going to take that out. I don't think it belongs here. Yes, it does. We're still going to need it, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Okay, I'll leave it then. And where are we? Here we go. Look, little squigglies start coming in. So, map 4M, projection matrix. We're going to keep that. We're going to keep that. But we're going to change this, obviously, to a terrain shader. There we go. That's now a terrain shader. And that can stay the same. Word camera still stays the same. Number of attributes stays the same. So, explicit draw entity is now DrawTerrain. We should put it in correctly. I hope you're doing all these modifications and you beat me to it. Hope so. OpenGL, static shader, nope. Terrain shader. So yeah, quite a lot changes. Interestingly. So terrain shader, and it's now DrawTerrain. I can just double click on that now. Take a copy of it because that's going to replace there. Now let's see what else we need. Public. DrawTerrain, yes. Prepare is going to stay the same, and render is going to be a standard vector of entities terrain. So we are taking out U. Totally. Ding, 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 ding. There you go. Sound effects as I ding. So it's just going to be a standard vector of entities. It's going to be terrain asterisk. So I'll pop that there. Is it still doubles at the end? No, it's not. It's a single now. So that becomes a single. And it's and. Do we need to change this? Not really, but I'm going to. Terrains. Because I can. And then we just need the camera. Yep, that's fine then. And in our private, interesting areas, we have prepare terrain. We are going to have entities, and no, it's not an entity anymore. It's going to be a terrain. So, yeah, it is the same, but it's not, if you see what I mean. So that can go there. And it's no longer an and, is it? Well, it is. It's still the address. But it's also a pointer now, because we've got it as a pointer. So we can actually put that as a pointer, can't we? Yeah. It doesn't matter. You can do it either way around. Unbind, we don't seem to have. Okay. Because I've got cleanup. Interesting. So we have prepare instance. Well, no, it's not, is it? It's prepare terrain. There isn't an instance of terrain, there is only one. There can be only one terrain. So that becomes prepare terrain. Which means we don't need that. Yeah, I'm getting the idea of this. Yeah, we don't need these two. It's not going to work like that. No, it's not going to work like that. Let's do it a different way. We're going to have unbind textured model, is it? Textured. I think it's something like that anyway. We'll pop that one in, and we'll also have, let's think about it. We'll want to load a model matrix at this point into entities. Yeah, that one. Entities, and it's going to be terrain, which we don't seem to have. Okay, we don't have terrain in entities. That's why it's coming up like that. Where did we put our terrain? There. Oops. What I forgot. It ain't that, it's terrain. Wondered why it was going a bit wonky there. A bit weird. What's going on, Blades? I don't know. I've got it all wrong again. There's terrain. Hello. Nice to meet you again. Oh, I don't know. And we'll just have a star terrain in there. Because we can. Does that look better? Yes, it does. Do we still need entity? Might do. Not sure. So I've just taken entity out and put terrain in. Will that matter to us? Possibly, possibly not. Okay, half and halfy please. And can we have this side? And I'll just put that up. There we go. Let's have a look at DrawTerrain now. It's no longer draw entity. That we have decided. It's now DrawTerrain. And that part becomes DrawTerrain. That becomes DrawTerrain. That becomes DrawTerrain. All I'm going to do is go through and paste in DrawTerrain everywhere. Well, up to here anyway. Paste, yeah. Yeah, that's right. This lot we took out. Totally. So we'll do the same. And we're replacing those two with a couple of lovely lines here. That'll do. There we go. A couple of lovely lines there. Yeah, just do that. And it's DrawTerrain, paste, : No, it's not. Just undo that, please. Thank you. There we go, that's better. That'll work a bit better. Okay, starting to look good. Starting to look good now. We're getting there. End of that line, please. Return. Yeah, funny. Yep, that's right. Just put space between, I think. Now, we will have errors all over the place, which is fine. Oh, I love it. So, let's start with the top errors. What we got? DrawTerrain, yeah. So, we are now OpenGL terraining. There we go. So, we'll just change that to terrain. And we are on shader here. Where are we here? Shader, right, semicolon, yep, so we've got a colon, that's right, M projection matrix, map 4 identity, yep, M shader, looking good, starting to look good already. Let's have a look what we can do with this. I only need the shader part, so I don't really need to take in the projection matrix identity at this point, do I? I'm going to anyway, for completeness. We are going to need to delete here, because we might not be doing it elsewhere. And that's just going to be underscore shader. That's the only thing I can think of. I'm still not sure we need that line. We'll see. I don't think we do. So let's carry on. So that line might be coming out. I'm still getting wibbly wobblies here. Why am I getting wibbly wobblies? Expected a semicolon. You did. Thank you for your wibbly wobblies. Wow. Good start to the day. Here we go. Draw entity. No. DrawTerrain. And it's DrawTerrain prepare. DrawTerrain prepare. Map 4 projection. Yeah, I can see it. No, I'm pointing it back in for completeness because it is correct. It's just that it's not really needed. Doesn't cause a problem. It just means it gets set at the beginning to a value rather than waiting for the prepare to set a value. I think we're better off doing that just in case somebody forgets to prepare. Does that ever happen? No, Blades. We never forget to prepare, do we? Oh dear. Render. Oh yes, we're taking out the map. Yeah, thank God. Because that map's going to be a nightmare as it is. Ding, 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 ding. There you go. And that was my impression of something which I hate. There it is. We've got our entities, which I think we've now changed to terrain, haven't we? Yep. So that's terrains. That's terrain. It's no longer an entity. It's a star, that's correct. Yeah, you'll be happy in a minute. So let's be rendering. Entities, camera. Yeah, let's just line that back up a little bit more, I think. Yep, that's good. So, content. Obviously, we're not doing this map business anymore. Well, that's a good point. What we're going to do instead? something a whole lot easier, I hope. So, still got the camera equaling the camera. But here, instead, we've got a for unsigned int. So really, it's this for loop. We can take u2 out totally. We can rework this for loop totally. Yeah, we can. Just take that out. So we can delete that. And what we're going to have instead is just going through the terrain. So it is an unsigned int for unsigned int, or uint if you want to use that, you can do. I equals 0 standard. I is less than terrains dot size, just for the total size of it. So we're just going to go through the whole terrain and output that, I believe. I think that's the easy way of doing it. I++. Is that the right way around? Yes, it is. Excellent. So what we're going to do in here, something pretty much along the same lines. That line isn't needed anymore, and it's no longer prepare that, it's now that. So it's prepare terrain, and it's going to be terrains I. Yeah, that'll do it there. Lovely. Yeah, that'll do fine there. God, this is going to look stupidly easy now, isn't it, after what we did here? Oh dear. I'm going to make this look easy. Do apologise. Yeah. Just pop this back a bit. What we're going to do next is this line here. Which is why I hesitated, actually. I was going to put it the other way around, but it doesn't matter. We're doing that one next. So that's a copy. And a paste. So it's load model matrix, prepare instance. Yeah, what have I done wrong? Oh, I've just put it in the wrong place, haven't I? Can I take this second for loop out? It's bugging me. Yeah, that's better. Told you I was going to make it look easier. I didn't mean it this much. So Control V, and it's terrains I. Terrains I. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. Copy that into here. Stupidly easy. Which is why we could asterisk it, because it's already got an asterisk on it, so it's already a pointer. You see, it's a pointer. That's a pointer. So we can use pointers here. Get off the screen a minute, you. So we can use pointers here. Oh, it makes it so much easier when you do it this way. Now, after we've loaded the model matrix, what do we need to do next? Render here. I believe that for loop was. So put semicolon there. So it's our render here part. And this is where our render goes. And it's GL draw. GL draw. Something. Elements. Elements. Yes, elements are good. Elements. I'm just being put off by my missus putting stuff in here for me, which is very kind of her. I don't mind. Here we are. So let's add GL triangles again, shall we? We're so used to triangles. We like our triangles. We don't like our quads. We decided on that, didn't we? Yes. So GL triangles. What does it want now? A size I count, which is, oh my god, it's going to be terrains. You love this. I it's going to be, that's a pointer, so we'll have to point to it. Get model, which is why I was wondering about the entity part, which we obviously don't need now. Brackets, because that's a function. And that's not a pointer, so that's dot. Oh god. And we've called it getIndexCount. Alright, getIndexCount. Yeah, we'll have that. And that's lovely. There you go, that's the size I count anyway. That's for that little bit of terrain, depending on how many terrains we've made. Hopefully only one. Certainly does this once. Think about it. You can have multiple terrains of about a kilometre by a kilometre, so you could actually be putting out like 100 terrains here. A square, so you'd have a 10 by 10 square. Interesting thought. So you'd have 10 kilometres by 10 kilometres. That'd be interesting. Let's have a comma instead. Stop being interesting and put a comma in. Because we now want a GL enum type. I've got a feeling that's going to be a GL unsigned into something. Can I remember what it is? Yeah, it's going to be a GL unsigned int. GL unsigned. That one, please. What else do you need? Const void indices. Oh, the data. I remember that. We don't care. Just take it from the start of what we give you and go to the vertex count and do the lot, please. So null pointer. There we go. So I'm just telling it basically by putting null pointer in, just do the lot of them from terrain's eye start to terrain's eye finish, which is at the end of the count. And instead of cleanup, we have you. Copy you out. Pop you in. Ta-da! Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bow. That's it. It's a for loop. That's the whole render process, he says, grabbing his coffee. It makes it so much easier once you take the mapping out, because we're using the mapping so that we could do multiple instances and rendering of a single object, like a tree, 1,000,000 times, if that's what you wanted to do to make a forest. Oh, coffee. Right, prepare instance isn't prepare instance anymore. It's prepare terrain. There we go. And we've changed entity to terrain. And let's call it terrains instead. Didn't we change that totally? Yeah, we did. We put an asterisk there. Same difference. Oh, I've got the burpees now. Yeah. It won't be used at this point because, yeah, right, yeah. To do. Lovely. I think that's roughly about all there is on the to-dos. Yeah. What we've now got, DrawTerrain. Unbind terrain, prepare terrain, unbind, yeah, unload model matrix, yeah. Okay, what's this unbindy thingy? Unbind texture model. I've got a double void going on, okay. It's fine. Take that off then. That helps. I've also got semicolon on it still. Okay, let's set that up properly. Let's see what we can do with this one then. to unbind the texture model, it's going to be a straightforward disabling, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That's not a problem. It's just going to be a straightforward disable. That'll unbind it. So let's do that as a for loop. May as well. So for GLUint, yes, I equals. I'm going to use a generic one, GLUint, because it could be slightly different on different machines. So I'm doing it properly for you instead of just hashing it together and hacking it together. Give you the proper thingies. Num attributes we've still got. Yeah, that's good news. Still got, that's 3. And then it's I++. And for each attribute, we have to disable it. So that's going to be GL disable. Disable, and it's going to be attribute, attrib array, that one please. Thank you. I. And that's your for loop done. Don't need brackets for that one. And at the end of it, after we've got rid of all the vertex attributes, we can take out the vertex array as well. So we just bind it. You know what we're doing. You've met this before. Vertex array, and you just put it to 0. You bind it to 0 to set it to not being used. There you go. So let's have a look what we're going to do with this load model matrix business. Yeah. We've changed it all up. It's looking good. We've got rid of all the red markers, which is good. that always helps. And this is going to be, well, this is going to be a model view and projection. That is that model view and projection. So I've got this in the wrong place. That's basically what's happened. Going to my notes, that says this is MVP. It doesn't say anything about it being anything else. Oh dear. What have you done, Blade? What have you done? You reorder things, load model matrix. Where have I placed it in here? Prepare terrain, load model matrix, yeah. So we can take this out of here now. Okay, so what should prepare terrain be? So when we're preparing terrain, what do we actually do? We're going to have to take the model. So we're going to need models. And we are going to need the raw model, which we don't have. It equals terrain. Yes, it does. Oh, get off that second. Raw model. Hold on a minute. I've got terrain coming straight in, haven't I? Why am I going to... I need to get the model. Is the answer. That's what I'm after on this line. I need the model. So where is it? It's in terrain. Get model. So I know where it is, and that will then be the raw model. But we haven't asked for raw model anywhere. Do we have a raw model in here? No. We have a model base though. Where do we have our model base? Terrain.h. Okay. Yeah, we do have model base. Right, it's me trying to word things differently. So it's now going to be, I'm just going to call it model. And that's going to equal terrain. It's a pointer. So we can just get the get model off it. There it is. And that's a function. Entities terrain, and it was star. I put terrains, pluralized it, didn't I? Habit. That's a very bad habit I've got. Very bad. Right, so we've got the model. We need to bind the vertex arrays. So let's do that. GL. Yeah, we have to do everything differently now. So it's bind vertex arrays. And I bet you didn't see this one coming. So this is the model, our base model. And that will be a dot get VAOID. Thank you. So we can bind that up nicely. Can we? Yes, we can. And now we need the attributes. So for, why am I going to write this again? It's here. It's that line again, but the other way around. Yeah. This is where we set it. So it's not disable, it's enable. Couple of letters difference, that's all. Enable. GL. Enable vertex attribute array I. That can all be done in one line. Yes, it can. I actually don't need this up anymore here. Can I not just get rid of you? Yeah, I can. Thank you. I can see the whole screen now. Dearie me. Let me just go through what I've done again. Let me show you all the screens now. So empty. I've left this line in for correctness. That's empty. We do have to delete the shader this time because terrain isn't automatically going to get deleted elsewhere. This shader is not generic. Some things may not have a terrain. Yeah, you might just be using models. So you might not have a terrain. So it has to delete its own shader. When you do a specific shader or draw technique, you have to delete its shader at the end. So that's just something to remember. The preparing is the same. The rendering is much simpler, unless you are doing a whole mapping thing. So you've actually got two different types of rendering going on here. You've got direct rendering, which is this, which is directly rendering the elements. And you have a mapped, what do they call it? A batch renderer. So you're getting 2 for 1 here. 2 for 1. Good sell, good sell. Then on prepare terrain, we are doing that now as we speak. We are preparing all the attributes, all 3 of them. And what else do we need to do? We need the texture, don't we? To put on that. Actually, texture's in the model, isn't it? But hey ho for completeness. M shader. What do we have in there? We have a pointer for M shader, and we have in here load shine variables. I hope. Yes, we do. Thank God for that. Thank God I've been doing it right. Terrains. Ah, bless. And it's going to be get texture. Yep. It knows what I'm doing. So that's that. This is what we need the texture part for. And it's get shine damper, isn't it? We've already actually programmed all of this lot in. All we have to do is put the lines in here, and it'll do it all for us. It'll tie it all together. I love this way of programming. You've really created your own language. At the end of the day, you're not using C or C++ or any kind of language. You're using your own language. None of that is in C. That's what we've typed in previously. Everything there is what we've made. Think about that. It's very important with C++ and this kind of language. You should always go about developing a mode or a way of doing something and then creating a language that will do it for you. So here I now know it's going to be terrains. I now know, because we're doing the shine dampers, that I need to get the texture again, because it should be telling me. I don't know if it is or not. And then it's going to be get reflectivity, if I can remember rightly. Yes, it is. There you go. And that's it. That's really the only things we're missing out of our textures that aren't automatically going to be put in there. So that's the only thing we're going to load up there. I'm getting quibbly quobblies for some reason. Don't know why. Incompatible with parameter type float. Oh, really? That's a void, is it? Set reflectivity isn't a void, is it? Oh, it is, it's get. It's right, it's right. It's a G. So yeah, there you go. Don't try setting it here. Try getting it. That's a good idea. Shh, don't tell anybody. There we go. And that's me shader part done. To activate the texture is simple. It's just GL. Activate. Texture. I put activate. It isn't. It's active. God, that's a horrible word. Texture. There you go. And we're going to put that to GL underscore texture. We're going to use channel 0. Yeah, let's put 0 there. I'm not going to use 1, 2, 3 or 4 or anything like that. We're going to use 0. And then we're just going to bind that texture in. GL bind texture. What does it want from us? GL enum target. Well, it was that 2D thingy, wasn't it? So it's that GL texture underscore 2D. And what else does it want? It wants the texture number. What have we saved? Where have we saved the texture onto the graphics card? So that will be in our terrains, which is a pointer. Using texture, yeah, it'll be in there, won't it? And that's not a pointer. That'll be the ID. It's just simply the ID. There we go. That's it. We've prepared the terrain. So that's your terrain being fully prepared. You can see it properly now. Because what we're doing is we're preparing the terrain properly. Then we load the model matrix, which is all of the calculations for M, V and P. And then we render it. And then we just unbind the textures and stop it from doing anything more with that texture. Yeah. Do I really need to clean up on anything else there? No, I've done the num attributes and I've done the array. No. 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 No, that's fine. The texture seems to be hanging over me, because we've only unbound the model. Do I really need to unbind a texture? How do we bind it? We bind it here. Okay, no, don't need to do that. I could set that to 0. I could. I could, but it's pointless. It is pointless, yeah, because I just realised every model has to have a texture because terrain has to have a texture. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Control S to save it out. Control S to save it out, and there you are. I think we're done. I do think we're done. I don't think there's any glaring mistakes in there, but I'm just going to ask it if there are. We should have making nothing to be done. Oh, I hate you for that. Of course there's nothing to be done. Dope. Close you, close you, close you. Profile. Bing. I've got draw entity, but I haven't got draw terrain. So let's pop that in here. And at the bottom here, just copy that line, separate it with a slash. Oops. Ding. Save you out. Now what do you say to me? And I say build. Yeah, good. Terrain isn't used. Yes, I know it's not used. Why didn't you warn me about the other one? Because you didn't do it. That's why, because it's already been done. Fine. Don't care, but that's correct. It hasn't been used because we haven't done the code yet. Thank you. But yeah, it's that easy. And it gets easier because you've created your own language to do it in. That's what it's complaining about, that hasn't been used here. And that's because we've got these to-dos. Yeah. That's fair enough. Model matrix, view matrix, and projection matrix. Well, that's finished. So there's just 2 to-dos left. Wow. Those will be basically the same in both files. That'll be easy. Easy. Easy peasy. What kind of timing are we on here now? 42? Okay, we'll go into the close-up. If you did have a go at it, I hope you cottoned on. Not to anything else. All I wanted you to cotton on to was that this was going to be so much easier. Instead of having, all I wanted you to realise is we didn't need that map there. And once you take the map out, it becomes a straightforward render. And that is the most straightforward render you can do. Trust me. You can't do it any more basic than that. In fact, you don't really need those 2 functions. You could just write it out in longhand. You could just put that in. And that in, and that in. And you don't really need to split it off between public and private functions because it really doesn't matter that much. Done it here for simplicity, so it matches up with draw entity, which does need to be split up to stop people accessing the private parts. Well, there's your draw terrain. So that means in our next episode, changes plus, and that's draw terrain. Draw terrain TBC to be continued. ... There we go. We'll pop you up. And this is still working because everything crashed the other day. Yeah, we're still working. It was only Windows that crashed. And the internet. I think everybody got the same crash, so it doesn't matter. That's okay. Source is okay. Guess what we're on next? Wow. Episode 10. Next episode. Look what we've got. Master Renderer. Are you excited yet? Are you excited? This is where we get to do, well, we call draw entity and DrawTerrain. We call it under the master entity, it's a renderer. And that's our rendering complete. Once our rendering's complete, we're home and free. We are literally home and free. I think we've only got the main window to do after that, and I've left that to last on purpose. And then we can go back through the code and fill in all the missing blanks. Wow, we are very, very close to ground zero. We are so close. I'm actually getting... I'm looking forward to this. I really am. I really am looking forward to this, because we've tested it all on compilation, but we haven't actually... I'm itching to test it now as a complete, just pop something on screen and see if it'll work properly. It will. It will. I have no worries there. So, in the meantime, take care, and above all, have fun.